Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be making a snowman and we're going to use torn paper to do it. So the first thing you want to do is get your name and your class code on your paper. So you should either be KA, KB, KC, or if you're Grant Wood, you are K1 because you guys use numbers. Okay, so I almost forgot the R on my name. White shows up better on the back of here because we're using a dark blue. So you look for a white crayon in the crayon box. Okay, and if you don't find one, Mrs. Walker is okay with pencil if you can't find one, but white's easier to see. Okay, we're going to set that aside, flip it over, and then, oh, actually I need that again. We're going to draw a snowman's head as if all we can see is just the top. He's so big that we can't see all of him. We can only see his head. So we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to do a curved line and it's going to go right off the paper. So what we're imagining is that the snowman's head is so big that all we can see is just the front of it with his two eyes and his carrot nose and his smile. That's all we're going to be able to see, okay? So once you have that, then you are going to need some white paper, and we're going to tear our white paper into little pieces of snow about this big, okay, about the size of your thumb, if you will. That might even be a little bit too big. And then we're going to glue those. We're going to start by gluing them right on our line here, okay? We're going to use the glue tubs. I have to pause this and get mine. Okay, I'm back with my glue tub. Now what you're going to do, you're going to share the glue tub obviously with your partner, but you're going to try to just touch your little pieces of paper, your little pieces of snow into the glue tub and stick them on. So what I would suggest you do, tear off about 10 at a time. If you tear more and it's time to stop, then you may run out of time and we'll have all those little pieces and that's a big cleanup. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I've got 10 pieces. Then I'm going to stick the 10 pieces and then I'm going to tear 10 more, okay? And you're just, whoops, I just lost it. You're going to keep doing this until you fill in the whole head of your snowman. I'm going to start right along this line and then I'm going to fill in all of this with snow, okay? So the first step is to get the line covered, okay, with snow. So I can't see your line. If you used a pencil, I should not be able to see your pencil line. And if you, like me, used a white crayon, I should not be able to see your crayon line, okay? Put your little pieces of snow right on top of it so we can't see it anymore, okay? I'm going to pause this while I fill this in with snow, and then I'll be back. Okay, I am back, and I'm not completely done, but I found some tricks that I wanted to share with you. First of all, if your fingers get sticky, which mine did because I was touching places that had glue, rub them together and it'll come right off, okay? Do your rubbing method. The other thing is as you're working, when everybody gets started, I will probably come around or have one of my helpers come around and we will squeeze some glue into your open spaces so that you can go a little bit faster, okay? But you do need to still use your glue tub, and we don't want to be able to see any of that blue, so you need to be sure if you see an open space that you stick some in there. The other thing I figured out is if you take your paper like this and tear it into strips like this, it goes a lot faster. But is this too big? Yes. So if you tear off a big piece, just tear it into a couple of smaller pieces before you stick it on. Okay, or maybe tear it into a slimmer section. Okay, and then this goes quite a bit faster if you tear it down to start with. And we want this nice kind of rough edge here, so we aren't going to use scissors today, okay? Just tear the paper. We're going to practice tearing. It's a good way, especially if you ever have a day where you're frustrated. Tearing paper is a great way to get your frustration out, okay? I'm not frustrated today, but if I was, this would be a good strategy. Now, am I done? Nope. I see lots of little blue spaces, so I'm going to keep working on this. If you don't have a teacher coming around and giving you little dots of glue in those spaces, what should you do? You should go into your glue tub and do it that way. And if it sticks to your fingers like that just did to mine, that means I need to do a little bit of this, okay? I'm going to pause it again till I'm completely done, and then I'll show you how to do the nose. Okay, I am back and I have mine nice and solid white. I had to do some overlapping too. So if yours has blue in it, you can overlap the white pieces on top of each other just so you can cover up those holes. Then if yours is big enough that someone else could use it, you can put those in the paper bin. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to use scissors for the very last part because we want a carrot nose and we want some charcoal eyes and maybe a little charcoal mouth. So for a carrot nose, I know I want to cut a triangle, and that's just cutting at an angle away from an edge, okay? And you can do a giant carrot nose, or if you think that's too big, you could cut it down to a smaller carrot nose, whatever you want. But we want to make our snowman, he's kind of looking up into the sky, okay? Now if I want two eyes, I could either cut out two eyes or I can fold over my black paper. And if you want, you can draw this on there. Let's see, where's my pencil? You can draw a big piece of charcoal, or you can just cut around in a circle. And we don't want it to be super round, do we? Because charcoal, I don't know if you guys have ever seen charcoal, but it's a kind of like stone, and it doesn't have really smooth edges, so you can do big giant ones like that. If you don't like that, you could make them smaller, and I think I want mine just a little bit smaller. That looks kind of big. There we go. And then you can take those and do the same thing. You're going to tap them into your glue, and then I'm going to put one over here and one here because he's looking kind of up, and I want his nose to be in between and leave room for his mouth, okay, for his happy little smile. Now for his mouth, I think we're going to do the same thing. Let's tear off a skinnier piece of black, and we're just going to do little bits of black like this. Yep, that looks good. Little pieces of black. You could probably have done this with his eyes, right? Just tear off a bigger piece. So I could tear off like this. I could actually, let's do that. Let's tear it. I think I like that better. So you're going to tear off your eyes. Oh, mine are already stuck. I guess I can't do that, but you can. And your nose, you're going to cut though, because getting that triangle cut, that's kind of tricky. Oops, I guess I forgot. You guys are going to be using your tub though, right, to glue that down. All right, and once you have your nose and your mouth pieces all glued on, then the very last step is to put some snowflakes in the sky. And for that, you're going to need a white oil pastel. And I don't think I have one here, so I will probably have to use that white crayon. But the oil pastel shows up better. Now, to make a snowflake, you do first an X, okay, and then kind of like a T. We're going to go right straight down the middle and across. And snowflakes can look any way you want, but sometimes I do like a diagonal line, almost like the letter V on the end. And you don't have to do this, but you can. So a little teeny letter V right on the tip of each one of those. And then I put like a dot right in here, just to make it look like it's this little crystal snowflake floating down, okay? Now you could do those V, some people like to do the V going all the way down like this. If you want to get fancy, you could do that. Okay, but however you make your snowflakes is fine with me. But it is kind of fun to play around and experiment and make them as beautiful as you can. Now, is one enough? Probably not. I probably need to do a bunch more, but I'm going to stop so you guys have time to work on this.